Okay, I just finished up replacing all the capacitors on this Turbo Duo. Now I'm going to add a region mod. This is not switchless. This does use a switch, but it's a one-chip solution, so you don't have to install one of those gigantic 8-pole double throw switches. This uses what's called a CBT 3383. The originator of this circuit is the Steve on PC Engine FX forums. A really great circuit. All you have to do is, of course, on the Duo, cut the pins on the back of the Hue card slot on 15, 16, 17, skip 18, and then 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And on my little board that I designed right here, I redesigned the circuit paths so that I could just solder up 10 conductors of ribbon cable on each side of the board, one side being the Hue card, one side being the motherboard, and then the wires coming off this side are going to go to power ground and each pin of a single pole double throw switch, which I'll probably mount to the back of the Duo. One note here is you could actually use a double pole double throw switch and hook up a bicolor LED, so that one color means that you're in US mode and the other color means that you're in Japanese mode. So basically what we're going to do is cut 10 of these pins back here, and on the Duo it is labeled. Right here it says 1, 2, and on the far side it says 37, 38. So you'll just count over till you hit 15, and then you'll cut 15, 16, 17, you'll skip 18 because it's a ground pin, and then you'll cut 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. And then we'll just, like I said, solder up the pins that go to the Hue card on this ribbon cable and the pins that go down to the motherboard on this cable. Okay, they're cut. Now I want to put some flux on them and see if I can't add a little solder to each pin. Just to ease the process of adding the ribbon cable. can see that, but there's a huge glop. And that last set of pins. That's why we have braid. Okay. Do the board side first. Those actually line up fairly well. Definitely have way too long leads on that. That's better. Maybe now you can understand why modders don't exactly jump for joy when having to do this mod, or why they charge so much to do it. It is very tedious work. But it looks like they're all solidly soldered. So now I'll just put a switch on this end and wire it up for power, and we can actually give it a test. Okay, I got it all wired up. Here's my switch. This is a double pole, double throw, but I'm just using one pole. US game. Works fine. Japanese game. Change the switch. Works fine. There you have it. Okay, one of the last things I need to do for the region mod, or better known as the country switch, is to actually mount the switch. And I'm going to mount it in this back corner. There's a hole right here, and then behind that hole there is a plastic gusset that I'll mount to, and the actual actuator will stick out far enough that it can still be pushed up and down. Okay, so I've kind of got the hole figured out. But what I'm going to do is throw a bunch of epoxy on it, because I don't trust hot glue to hold that switch in place with the lever sticking out so far. There'll be a lot of force, a lot of leverage on it. It could make it come loose, but epoxy will hold it in place real nice. Okay, so I mixed up some epoxy, put it around the sides of the switch, and let it sit for quite a while, and looks like it's going to hold really nice. So we'll put it back together and test it out. Okay, after all that, let's see if I can still fit the shielding back on here. Looks like, kind of feels like there's maybe one cap, possibly this one. Let's see if I can bend these the other way. Yeah. Yeah. Now it feels nice and solid. Bend the keeper tabs back over. Solder on these grounding wires. Solder back onto the controller port. Problem. One little ground wire on the CD-ROM. Got all the connectors back in for the CD-ROM. Luckily they had the foresight to color code them for us, so there's no guessing. Although it is a little bit confusing because there's a second white connector there that does not get connected to anything. I think about does it. One last little thing that I will do for the little region mod board that's just kind of sticking up. So I'm going to take some double-sided sticky tape. Happen to have a small piece of it left. Cut off just enough to stick to the 3383. Stick it right to the top of the chip. Peel off the other side. Oh. And then I'm just going to push it down onto the heatsink, or onto the RF shielding. Yeah, that's not wanting to stick very well. I think I'm just going to go with hot glue, because I know that'll hold it, but it'll still be removable afterwards. Okay, I've got the hot glue gun nice and warm. All I'm going to do is just put a glob of hot glue right there and then just push the board down on top of it. Quick and easy. Guaranteed to hold in place much better than double-sided sticky tape. Okay, so all that's left is throw the top cover back on, but of course we want to be sure not to pinch any wires. See if I can route a couple of them out of the way here a little better. Feels like something's hitting. Might be an RCA jacks. A couple plastic posts I could nip off there. That might do it. Try it again here. Still seems to be something. Could very well be RCA jacks. Ah, now I remember. I think I said something about this cap needing to stand pretty well upright. Kind of gets caught in the crossfire of the eject mechanism. There we go. Looks a lot better. Shake that cap again. Nope. Still upright, so I think we're good to go. Put our screws back in. Okay, screws are in. Let's power it up and try everything out. Okay, so here it is all buttoned up. Got a Japanese game in. Boots fine. Put in a US game. Flip the switch. I'm pushing it down. And we get Bonk's Adventure.